There are a lot of books here. Yeah, way too many. G'day to all you lovely people and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy and today I have a book haul for you. And in fact, this is not all the books that I have bought this year because I have definitely gone berserk. Yeah, I think I bought more books in the last 5 months than I have in years. Some are secondhand and some are new, but yeah, there's a lot of books here, and in fact I'm going to have to do several videos because there's just too many to show you all in one video. Now the only good thing is that I have finally slowed down. I have reached the point where I just don't want to buy any more new authors simply because I need to read the ones that I've got. I need to read the books that I've got. So I'm determined to not buy new authors for the rest of the year, though that doesn't mean I won't buy any books. It just means that I'm going to focus more on completing series or buying books, say, by my favorite authors, but no new ones. Yeah, there really are just way too many books here that I've got to read. That's how I see it. It's not just about buying them, it's also about reading them. And many of these books you might have seen if you have already watched my fantasy bookshelf tour, because all the books I've got today are fantasy or sci-fi. Like usual, I'm going to ask you guys to have a guess how many books you think I have here. And at the end of the video, I'll let you know. Alright, I'm just going to get started because there are way too many books here. And I'm going to start first with all the books that I bought that are second-hand. Because that's the thing with having done these bookshelf tours. I noticed that some of my books I needed to replace, or I was missing certain books in a series. And as a result, I've ended up buying a lot of books, a lot of secondhand books as well. In fact, today I think it's a half-half split, new and secondhand. And I also thought I would have a look at finding, say, hardcovers of some of my favorite books. And first I'll show you this, Intervention by Julian May. It is like a prequel to the Galactic Milieu trilogy by her. And this was not very expensive because it is a fairly old book, and I've already read it, of course. Another Julian May book, Diamond Mask. I think this is the second book in the Galactic Milieu trilogy. The third book in the trilogy, Magnificat. I'm having trouble finding the first book, but I will eventually. Now you might have seen some of these books in a previous book haul. I can't recall. This I bought from the Book Grocer, and in fact a lot of these books are from the Book Grocer, but not all. And this is Douglas Adams' The Dirk Gently Omnibus. I only had the first book in paperback, but now I have the hardcover. The Magician's Apprentice by Trudy Canavan. This is a trade paperback that I got secondhand, and I think it is part of a prequel to the Black Magician trilogy. I found a couple of Marion Zimmer Bradley books in hardcover because I really do like Firebrand and The Mists of Avalon. I really love this book. And in fact, it's been a while since I've read it. I'd like to reread it. But it's a lovely edition of the book. This is 2061 Odyssey 3 by Arthur C. Clarke. I believe it is the third book in the series. I've read the first, I bought the second, and I also found this at the Book Grocer. So I bought it. It wasn't very expensive. And I found the third, 3001, The Final Odyssey. Though I think there might be another book. I'm not sure. The Undivided, the first book in the Rift Runners series by Jennifer Fallon. In fact, this is also signed by the author. I have not been able to find all the books, but I did find the first one. And the second is The Dark Divide. Hopefully I'll be able to find the third as well. I found this secondhand at the book grocer. It is the second book in the Maze Runner series by James Dashner. I have the first and I really love the film, so I'm hoping I'll love the books too. Now I can't recall if this was secondhand or new. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. I've known about this book for a long time and I've wanted to try it. I think there is a film perhaps based on it, though I can't remember which one. This is a second-hand book, The Shrinking Man by Richard Matheson. Again, a classic sci-fi that I wanted to try. I'll confess I bought this because I loved the cover. Robert Heinlein, The Cat Who Walks Through Walls. It is, though, the third book in a series, which is fine. This was not very expensive and I wanted to try this author as well. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. I've heard good things about this and I found it secondhand, so I thought I'd give it a try. I do like Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game. This is the Shadow Saga. I think this is book 2, Shadow of the Hegemon. Book 3, Shadow Puppets. And of course now I'm looking for book 1. Destiny's Conflict by Janny Wards. I have the rest of the books in the series and I've got the final book which is coming out anytime now on order because I do want to finish it and I've been reading this since it first came out. P.S. Anthony. This is part of the Robot Adept series. I found the only 2 books I was missing at the book grocer in hardcover, though now none of them match because I have mass paperbacks, trade paperbacks and hardcovers. Doesn't matter, at least the series is complete. This is, I think, book 5. Book 6, Unicorn Point. Dragon Son by Margaret Weis. This is the second book in the Dragonwald series. I've had the first book for years, so I was really happy to find it. And I also found the final book, Master of Dragons. I have not read this, but I'm looking forward to reading it soon. So I've had the first 7 books in the Lemony Snicket, a series of unfortunate events series, for a long, long time, and I read them during my Loving What You Own challenge. Initially, I didn't know if I wanted to buy the rest because I thought maybe I won't reread them again. But I'm absolutely loving the series, so I decided to buy the rest of the books, and it was actually cheaper for me to buy the whole lot rather than just the books I was missing. So I've actually gifted my first 7 to someone else, and this is the rest. The Hostile Hospital, book 8. The Carnivorous Carnival, book 9, which I've just read. 10, The Slippery Slope. 11, The Grim Grotto. 12, The Penultimate Peril. And the final book, The End. Honestly, these are just so cute. I'm quite happy to have them on my bookshelves. The rest of these books are all new, I think. I might be mistaken, but I think they are all new. Anthony Ryan, Blood Song, the first book in the Raven Song series. He's a new author that I want to try. Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes. I absolutely love this cover and I've been wanting to read this for a long time. Starlight Enclave by R.A. Salvatore, part of the Driss series. This is, I think, the first book in the Way of the Drow. Another Driss book, Relentless, though I'm not sure which series it is a part of. Sword of Fire by Catherine Kerr, her most recent book in the Daveri cycle. Peter V. Brett, The Core. This is the last book, I think, in this series. I think it's called the Demon Something or Other series. Jen Williams, The Ninth Reign. I've been wanting to try this author as well. The Bitter Twins by Jen Williams. This is, I think, the second book. I had hoped it was a regular paperback, but it's actually a trade paperback. So now they don't match. But anyway. Red Seas Under Red Skies. This is the second book in the Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. I already have the first book and I found this, I think, for $10. keep buying Mark Lawrence's books, but I haven't read them yet. Still, I did find these for a bargain. Found the whole trilogy of the Book of the Ancestors for $30. Normally I pay a lot more for just one paperback. Red Sister is the first book. Grey Sister, book 2. The third book, Holy Sister. I'm looking forward to trying this very soon. King of Thorns, also by Mark Lawrence, the second book in, I think, the Broken Empire series. I already have the first book, and I found this for, I think, $10. The third book, Emperor of Thorns. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is a prequel to the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, and I love the Hunger Games, so of course I bought it. Sean Williams, The Stone, Mage and the Sea. This is an author that is new to me who's also Australian. Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I've heard a lot of good things about this author and I really want to try him. The Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend. She is an Australian author and I think these are middle grade, but I really wanted to try them. And look at just how cute the books are. Just adorable. They were very reasonably priced too. The second book is Wondersmith. And the third is Hollowpox. I just love this colour. I love how colourful they are. R.J. Barker, Gods of the Weirwood. I think I got this for $15 and it is a new series by this author. The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. I just read his Passage trilogy and I found this for I think $15. So I'm looking forward to trying it. I think it's his most recent book. Abandoned by Blake Crouch. This is actually an older book of his that has been reprinted, and if his name's on it, I'll buy it. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It even has red sprayed edges. My paperback wasn't in great nick, so when I saw this, I bought it to replace it. I have not read this either, and I want to read it very soon, but who knows when. Lightbringer by Pierce Brown, the latest in the Red Rising series. I have not read the subsequent series. I'm waiting for the final book to come out and then I'll read them all together. Yeah, but part of me really wants to read this as well. I want to know what's going on in this universe because you know how much I love the Red Rising trilogy. The Will of the Many by James Islington, who's actually an Australian and lives in my state. I know this is the YouTube darling at the moment, and I guess I want to see what all the fuss is about. Plus, I love supporting Australian authors. James Corey, The Expanse series. I found the first 3 books in a box set in hardcover, so I bought them because I really want to read it. I loved the first season of the show, and that's all I've watched because I want to read the books now. The first book is Leviathan Wakes. Book 2, Caliban's War. Book 3, Abaddon's Gate. I'm sorry if it's gotten a bit dark. The weather just changed very abruptly here. Talk about heavy. The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. I did not like the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, so many people recommended I try this instead. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Kagan the Damned by Jonathan Mayberry. I've heard good things about this book, so I'd like to give this a go as well. Master of Furies by Raymond E. Feist. This is actually the 3rd book in the Freeman saga. I think that's right. I didn't realise, I thought it was part of the Rift War saga, but this is actually a new series. So I'm going to get the rest of the books and give this a go. Don't know when though. Jim Butcher, The Olympian Affair. This is the 2nd book in the Cinder Spires series. I have the first book, but I was waiting to at least have 2 before I started. And this is something I want to try very, very soon. I've had to re-record some of the books that I was going to show you because the first time I recorded this, my camera didn't focus. Most likely because the weather changed and it got really dark. Okay, Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. This is the first book in the Legacy series. I have the others in hardcover, but I could only find this in a trade paperback, so at least it's the same height, right? Yeah. The Last Herald Mage trilogy by Mercedes Lackey. I noticed that I only have the first book in the series in mass paperback, and it was actually cheaper to buy this omnibus than it was to buy the other books. So at least now I've got the whole trilogy. Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the second book in the Foundry Side trilogy. I cannot find the first one in hardcover, but I found the second and third for a reasonable price, and I just love these covers, so I couldn't resist. I really want to read this. I think it is like steampunk sci-fi, I think. I don't know too much about it, but that's okay. And the third book, Locklands. Aren't they just beautiful? I love them so much. I really hope I love the books just as much. Benedict Jacker, An Inheritance of Magic. Benedict Jacker wrote the Alex Veary series, so when I realised he'd brought out a new book, I bought it. And this is actually my very first broken binding purchase. I buy a lot more, but the postage is really quite high and not always worth it. Still, it's beautiful. Its sprayed edges are kind of gradient-like. It's a lovely dust jacket as well. It's also signed by the author. And the front of the book is like that. I think it's worth it. Yeah, honestly, I think I could spend a lot of money buying broken binding books. This last lot of books are The Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. When I saw these special editions, I just had to get them. And I finally have all of them. This is The Last Wish, which is a prequel of short stories. Sword of Destiny is also a prequel of short stories, and look at these gorgeous covers. Season of Storms is actually a prequel novel which the author wrote, I think, after the series had ended. Again, just gorgeous. Blood of Elves is actually the first book in the series itself, and God, I am just obsessed with these covers. I love them, and I love that all the spines are different, so they look really colourful on the shelf. The Time of Contempt, Book 2. Baptism of Fire, Book 3. Book 4, The Tower of Swallows, though I actually think the correct title is The Tower of Swallow. I'm not sure. I don't care. It's beautiful. The final book, The Lady of the Lake. Aren't they just beautiful? And like I said, all different colours. So that is all the books in this video. They are all fantasy or sci-fi, and as I said, a mixture. Secondhand as well as new. So now, did you guess how many? It's a lot. It's 75. I think that is my highest book haul. And like I said, that is not all the books I bought this year. You can expect more book haul videos in the near future. Yes, I am a book addict and I'm not ashamed of it. And as far as I'm concerned, better books than something else, right? Yeah. So of course now I'd like to hear what you think of this book haul. Are there any books that really stand out for you? What books have you bought this year? You know, I always want to hear. You can let me know down in the comments, or you can contact me on Instagram. Thank you all so very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you like this video, then you can do the usual. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. I wanted to thank all my patrons, but a big shout out to my book dragons, Laurie, Michael, Gabriella, Yavanka, Joe, and Johanna.